I like the expectations to be championship level. Like that's part of what attracted me here. I think, I said this in the opening press conference, like I feel like I'm built for this. Like the passion and fire of this fan base, I think I'm the perfect fit for that type of mindset because I have a similar type of energy. And to me, pursuing the championships at the highest level is non-negotiable. Like that's the expectation. That's what we're here for. I didn't come here to be average. And I'm not going to mislead anybody. It's not like we've walked in and I'm going, oh, we're on third base. We're just ready to score a run right now. We got to we're on deck entering the batter's box. We got to figure out a way to get some people on base and start scoring runs, for a baseball analogy. But like, I was drawn to the University of Florida because of championship standards and, really having the opportunity to interact a little bit with Urban. And then at the end of the process, talk to Coach Spurrier, even excited me more and getting to see those guys here and there. And even the small engagements I've been able to have, just have a ton of respect for what's been done in our football program in the past.
Another Duly Noted podcast comes to you from the Coach's Podcast Room at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill in Celebration Point. Okay, welcome into another Duly Noted podcast presented by Titan MRI and Imaging and coming to you from the Meldon Law Gator Studios. Great show today. Coach Spurrier will be in here in a little bit. Jon Sumrall, we taped the interview on Friday. We believe in transparency, unlike some other things, but we believe in transparency. But so Coach Sumrall's interview that we did on Friday will be showing here today, and so we don't have Robbie Andrew because we did Yes, No, Where, Maybe with Jon Sumrall, which is really cool. And then on Thursday, Paul Feinbaum is going to join us. That's always a fun time when we talk to him. And then we'll just see where we go from there because I got another couple of people I'm working on. All right. We need to get to, by the way, I just want to make sure everybody knows the reason I am wearing this sweater vest is because I appealed to Tom Hart because I had seen it on Twitter and he sent it to me. And it fits beautifully. I like it. Nobody else does, but it's a Pop-Tarts bowl. What do you want? It looks like Pop-Tarts. All right, so let's get to our MoneyMetals.com starting five. MoneyMetals.com is your home for gold and silver purchases, one of the largest distributors in all the United States. 2 Gator grads are running it, and you can reach them at 1-800-800-1865 or at MoneyMetals.com.
Easy enough.
So, and remember we brought that coin out or the round out for the MoneyMetals.com. They've got that in every team. You don't have to just get the Braves. You can get any team you want. And we appreciate them for a couple of Gators being such good friends of ours. And they live in Idaho. And they're still into another Duly Noted podcast, and we appreciate that. All right, let's start off with number one. And we could play the Queen music, but it's so cliche. We are the champions, yes. Another one bites the dust, yes. You could use all that. Spread your wings and fly away. That's one of my favorite songs. But Florida, obviously, I was nervous all day. Karen and I went to the Pints and Predators thing at First Magnitude. It was really cool, the birds that were there. We had a great time. But the whole day, we were kind of bouncing around from places, and I was nervous about the game and my wife kept saying, "Why do you care, Pat? If they lose, they're still going to probably win the FCC." I go, "I know, but it's Calipari. That's part of it." Wasn't a problem. 111-77. They got out to a little lead early. I was a little bit more nervous, and then Florida just destroyed them. And look. And I've talked about this. Tim H., who is one of our Patreon members, I've talked about Florida shooting better on the road than at home, which is amazing. And he sent me the numbers, and they were startling how bad they were at home versus on the road. Of course, they're still winning at home, but it is interesting but this game, they shot fine at home. What did they shoot? 50%, I think, for the game. 7 players in double figures. sometimes you sit there and you go, my God, sometimes I wonder that they peaked too early. Or maybe they're just a really good basketball team that's playing really good basketball. And a lot of guys understand their roles now, and they are just, maybe they're not peaking. Maybe they're just, this is part of the run they're going to make. I'm not going to talk about repeating because it's so hard to win games in the NCAA tournament. You know that. Repeating as SEC tournament champs, yeah. They're going to be the 1 seed now. I know that, so that's good. We saw so much in that game. The exchange between Calipari and Golden was classic. F-bombs were dropped. People were laid to waste. You had Boogie Flan going down and bleeding on the court. You had multiple technicals, multiple flagrant fouls. And you had one team that was clearly better than the other. The funny thing to me was when Jay Billis said, if I'm Florida, I may want to get my starters out because there are going to be some cheap shots. But he didn't say it that way. But that's what he was saying. And we all went, yeah, I'm right there with you. We saw what happened. That was Texas A&M, where Rylan Griffin cheap shotted Thomas Houck. And anyway, it was a glorious day. And especially, and I know that Todd talked about this, all the distractions you have to deal with game day being in town. It's a different situation than something you're used to. But he really felt like his team could handle it because first of all, they all love playing with each other and they all play like they're pros and, treat things like they're pros. Just incredible performance. I cannot salute them enough. There's no way I can. And let's get to number 2 on our moneymedals.com. Starting 5, because number 2 is, all right, Florida right now is the 1 seed for the tournament. We know that. We still don't know exactly who they're playing. I looked at the projected bracket right now, and it would be a tough run for the Gators, but who's tough for Florida right now? Nobody would I be worried about. If they win, in my mind, if they win three more games, let's say they win Mississippi State Tuesday night, Kentucky, and then win the first game of the tournament, I think they could sneak into that 1 seed. They might have to win 2. They might have to win out. Who knows? I mean, I can give you some metrics, and we're going to give you some more a little bit later with Mark Guida presents the 12. We're going to give you the wins above bubble metric and where Florida ranks in that. Florida right now on the Torvik is number 5 and the BPI number 5. But in Ken Palm and the net, they're number 4 in the country. Now, things are going to change, but they've got a lot of quad 1 opportunities left. Right now, I think they're 4th in quad 1 wins. And again, maybe you guys are tired of me talking about quad 1 and net and all the metrics and everything, but they're important. And so Mississippi State comes in Tuesday. They are 13-16 this year. They are they're not good. They're 15th in the net in the SEC, not in the country, in the SEC. That's 1 ahead of South Carolina, which is 16th in the net. So that win's not going to help you anywhere. They're number 105, by the way. Kentucky's 27. That's another opportunity for a quad 1 win if they get to that point. We'll talk about that later. Mississippi State has a couple of good players, but they're having a rough season. So we'll see what happens. Yes, you want to go get it. In fact, I texted Todd Golden after the game and said, hey, Todd, I'm really proud of you guys, but let's go win it outright. And he texted me right back and said, LFG, man, let's go. Let's get it done. And I agree with that 100%. Look, and I do agree with the celebration after the game. Because I've seen other Florida teams do that. I've also seen teams that said, we're not cutting down the nets. We're cutting down the nets when we get to Indianapolis or wherever the Final Four is that year. That's when we're going to cut down the nets. We're not going to cut them down here. Kentucky did that a couple times. Didn't celebrate an SEC championship because they didn't care about it that much. Florida cares about it, and they should. And I think it's great that they did all that. They had it all ready. They could have, I'm sure they ordered all that stuff and go, well, if we don't get it today, we can bring it out Tuesday. But hey, I would be worried about jinxing them. But I thought it was a good plan there, and well done. Well done by the UAA. I want to give them credit for that. Let's go to number 3 on our moneymetals.com starting 5, and that is baseball's sweep of the Miami Hurricanes. Now, they only played 2 games. Okay. But they just looking at some of the things on Twitter, and I don't know how valid this is, it feels like Miami might have just said, we don't want to play a 3rd game. We're good. Because the weather, they could have played a doubleheader yesterday. They knew what the weather's going to do. They could have played the game at 11 o'clock. They knew what the weather was going to do. Instead, I turn the game on, and it's in a weather delay, and then I look and see, yeah, there was all kinds of weather down there in Coral Gables. It's the only place in the state that was raining. But the bottom line is Florida won both games, and both games were really good games. Obviously, winning the first game, Liam Peterson was lights out. Second game, you lose Aiden King in the 3rd inning with cramps. I guess he had cramps in his hand because he was looking at his hand. I figured it was a blister, but I guess they were cramps in his hand. And then we get to the Saturday game. Florida wins. The winning run scores on a balk, and it was a balk. No matter what you want to complain about Miami fans, it was a balk. And then Ethan Serwick with the 3-run homer in the ninth to at that point you're going, oh, they've won the series. Pretty exciting, and especially this stat. Kevin O'Sullivan, when he came to Florida was way behind Miami in overall series. Now, these things matter to some people, and they matter to me. He is now 45-19 against Miami. Miami. Not some, not against FAU. 45-19, and has allowed Florida now has a 2-game lead over Miami in the overall series. That is very cool, and I appreciate Sully. I was texting him too. That's the way I get on Sundays. I text a lot of people. Man, you're doing so great. Anyway, that was good. Obviously, they've got games this week, and then this weekend they got High Point. I don't think anybody's going to get too excited. But hey, look, one thing I have discovered about this new stadium that makes it different from the old stadium is people show up for nobodies. It's like the opposite of what we've talked about in football. You have to schedule good games to get people there, although that maybe has changed a little bit too. But in baseball, you got to play. You're in the SEC. You're going to play enough tough games. Just pile up the wins, and if you can do that, fine. We'll talk about that when we get to the schedule on our Swamp Restaurant games of the weekend. But anyway, congratulations to the baseball team for those 2 wins against Miami. They just own them. They own Miami, and there's nothing they can say about it. And I like that. All right, let's go to number 4 on our moneymetals.com, starting 5, and that is that football starts Tuesday, tomorrow. Are you excited about spring football? I don't know. I don't get too excited about spring football. I always look forward to the spring game. Sumrall interview, like I said, we'll run after this segment here. And I think he's really good. We did a yes-no where maybe with him. They've got a lot of work to do. We know that. He talked about the casual efforts in the weightlifting rooms and that they're trying to get that going. And look, you don't get in shape during the season. I've said that a million times. You get in shape now and in the summer, and that's what you got to do. We'll see how they're able to do. The number one thing is bring back the edge. Get where everybody knows what they're doing, and that when you come in for the fall camp, everybody knows what the play calls are, knows what's going on. Get 11 guys on the field, and stay healthy. That's the big one. No good news comes out of spring football. I've said that a million times, and I still believe it to this day. The only good news that comes out is bad. And that's usually an injury, almost always an injury, or this guy just quit the team or something like that. All right, so that is our football segment. We'll talk a lot more about spring football as we get going on it. Finally, number 5 on our MoneyMetals.com starting 5 is our Gator Olympic Athlete of the Weekend. Of course, it is brought to you by Steve and Christine Wendig from Boss Heart Realty. We appreciate them so much for making sure we acknowledge that it's not just a football school. Actually, it's kind of a basketball school right now, but hopefully it becomes a football school again. Anyway, our Steve and Christine Wendig Olympic Athlete of the Week is Sky Blakely. Sky Blakely, if you don't know, I'm sure you didn't watch it because it was on Flow TV or whatever it is that you have to pay for it to get it. And it was in Denton, Texas. But their first 10 of the year finally came. Trinity Thomas used to have like 3 a night. Maybe not that many, but so that was their first of the year. Florida had their 3rd best score of the year. They did really well out there, and that's good. And some people ask me why they go out there. Texas is like the hotbed for gymnastics, believe it or not. And they only have one. I think I wrote a story about it a while back, like a long time ago when I was writing for newspapers, about how the national championship is in Texas. There's only one school in Texas that has gymnastics, and that's Texas State, which seems kind of crazy, but the gymnasts train there in these clubs, and then they come here, or wherever they want to go, LSU, Auburn. So I think that's why they go back out there and let them go home and see people and everything. I assume so. Don't forget, this weekend, Florida's playing or tumbling against LSU, and it's on a Sunday. So if you're looking for that Friday match, whatever you want to call it, no, there's a Sunday meet, and it's for TV, of course, and it's against LSU, so that'll be pretty interesting as well, and we'll see how they continue to go. All right, that's going to do it for our MoneyMetals.com starting 5. We'll take a break. When we come back, the interview with Jon Sumrall that we did, I almost called him Sumlin. Kevin Sumlin will join us. No, Jon Sumrall will be on, and we will play that. And it was a lot of fun talking to him. Seems like a really good guy, and hopefully you enjoy it. I'll be back with more of another duly noted podcast presented by Titan MRI and Imaging, coming to you from the Meldon Law Gator Studios right after this break.
Ever dreamed of catching a touchdown pass from Tim Tebow or Danny Werfel, or taking a handoff from the legendary Steve Spurrier? Then you need to join the Florida Legends Experience on Monday, March 30th at the Alachua County at Celebration Point. You'll receive a personal video of your touchdown and a football signed by the Gator Legends. Enjoy an unforgettable day of Gator greatness while supporting the incredible mission of Isaiah 117 House. Tickets are limited. Get yours now at FLLegends.com. That's FLLegends.com. Don't miss your chance to be a part of Gator history.
Coach, it always impressed me how you beat Florida State to win the 1996 national championship.
And I was really impressed with your 06, 08, and 09 Gator teams.
And the way you coached Danny to the Heisman Trophy.
A lot like what you did with Tim Tebow.
You won more SEC championships than you lost home games at the Swamp.
And you had plenty of super games in front of our Gator Nation.
Yeah, there really is something special about the Swamp.
I guess that's why we say about the Swamp, only the Gators get out alive.
To the Swamp and the Gators, with the best beverage served at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill. 100% agave, Los Landeros tequila. Aged in bourbon barrels for a smoother taste.
I think you mean Head Beer Coach 1966 lager, a crisp, light, bodied lager for easy drinking.
Nope. Los Landeros tequila, smooth enough to drink neat, bold enough to elevate a cocktail.
1966 lager, enjoyed on game days in the fall or whenever you need a winning cold brew.
Los Landeros tequila.
1966 lager.
Los Landeros.
1966 lager.
Y'all stop bickering.
Okay, you're both wrong anyway. The best thing Spurrier's Gridiron Grill offers are Jerry's famous chocolate chip cookies.
Okay, welcome back to another duly noted podcast presented by Titan MRI and Imaging, coming to you from the Meldon Law Gator Studios. It is great to bring on the 31st head coach at the University of Florida. His name is Jon Sumrall. You may have heard of him. He has been certainly getting around lately. I will say that. We see him everywhere. Jon, how are you?
I'm doing great. I appreciate you having me on.
Absolutely. I was going to ask you about that. You have been at baseball and even golf, basketball, tennis. Are you that big a sports fan, or are you just trying to have a presence in the community? Both things are good.
Yeah, I'd say a little bit of both. I love sports. I love watching people compete. Love watching people that work really hard at their craft, give it everything they have, and lay it on the line. Something I enjoy watching. And then just getting acclimated to the Gainesville community. And then at the same time, man, I think one of the cool things about the University of Florida is the level of success across all sports. You know, you think about Coach Walton in softball and Sully in baseball and what Todd's done in basketball and so forth and so on. Man, keep going on. JC and those guys in golf. I think one of the cool things about the University of Florida, Jeremy Foley years ago talked about Team Florida. I remember from a distance hearing that. And I think we're all here to support each other. I'm everybody's biggest fan when we're not playing, man. And when we're obviously playing, if other sports are playing as well, I'm pulling for them. I'll be pretty focused on what we have going on. But man, I think a rising tide raises all ships. I want to see all of our coaches have success. All of our student athletes have success. And I've had a really good time getting to know the other coaches in the athletic department and supporting their teams.
Well, just so you know, I'm wearing a Florida golf shirt here. So
let's go.
I'm a big fan of JC Deacon. Actually, he gave me the shirt. He's a good guy.
Great guy.
Yeah. And so, how are you acclimating to our community and the university and everything that you're having? Because there's a lot comes at you in a hurry when you walk into a job like this.
Yeah. The first month or so, my time was kind of crazy because I was split between two jobs, right? So I was finishing the job at Tulane because I felt like that was important for me to do that the right way on my way out. And then once that ended and I was able to fully be here all the time, it made things a lot simpler and cleaner and easier. This has been a really easy transition for our family in regards to the lifestyle component. My wife and I are both from Alabama. The Gainesville, while it's in Florida, it's got a lot of maybe the small town or really big small town type vibe. It's not. You're not going to get lost. You're just a couple of degrees of separation from probably anybody. It's very welcoming. All the people that we've interacted with, man, it's been really an easy fit for us. And the people have been very authentic and genuine in our interactions, and we've enjoyed the transition here. But yeah, and then professionally, it's just trying to make sure we're doing everything we can to build a competitive championship level football team. We want to win championships and play at the highest level, and we got a lot of work to do to get there. We're nowhere near there. We've got to put the work in to get back to where we want Florida football to be. But I'm excited about the work that's in front of us.
That's one thing you talk about, all the winning coaches on this campus, and the one thing that's been lacking is football, to be honest with you. We got to get that's the most important one, and we've got a big. But I get the impression from the press conferences and other interviews that you've done that you're embracing the expectations instead of some coaches kind of like they feel the weight of it. I get the feeling that you're wrapping your arms around.
Yeah, look, nobody's ever going to put more pressure on me than me. And I am extremely passionate, extremely hardworking, and very driven. And so I like the expectations to be championship level. That's part of what attracted me here. I think, I said this in my opening press conference, I feel like I'm built for this. The passion and fire of this fan base, I think I'm the perfect fit for that type of mindset because I have a similar type of energy. And to me, pursuing the championships at the highest level is non-negotiable. Like, that's the expectation. That's what we're here for. I didn't come here to be average. And I'm not going to mislead anybody. It's not like we've walked in and I'm going, oh, we're on third base. We're just ready to score a run right now. We got to, like, we're on deck entering the batter's box. We got to figure out a way to get some people on base and start scoring runs, for a baseball analogy. But like, I was drawn to the University of Florida because of championship standards and, really having the opportunity to interact a little bit with Urban. And then at the end of the process, talk to Coach Spurrier, even excited me more, and getting to see those guys here and there. And even the small engagements I've been able to have, just have a ton of respect for what's been done in our football program in the past.
Speaking of Coach Spurrier, I don't think you went Monday night expecting it to turn into a roast to the Spurrier Awards. That was pretty funny, but they picked on you a little bit too,
Yeah, look, I took it all in good fun. There's a great banter back and forth there. We got to start winning some games before we worry about what people say or talking. You know what I mean? Like, I ain't got time. I'm worried about figuring out how do we help the University of Florida football team win. We win, talking will handle itself.
Absolutely. Well, and one thing you've done, bringing in Rusty Witt, and it seems like, and you know this as well as anybody, and I've tried to tell people this before, you don't get in shape during football season. You get in shape leading up to football season. And it seems like, like you said on Coach Meyer's podcast, that it got a little casual around here, and you're trying to solve that problem. And that is one of the things that has got to happen here. There's got to be an edge that I think has been lacking, and I'm not going to throw any other coaches under a bus. I just don't think we've had an edge around here for a long time.
Yeah, look, I can't speak to what's going on prior to my arrival. I wasn't here for any of it. I didn't see any of it firsthand. Maybe I watched, obviously, plenty of tape upon my taking this job of what happened last year. But all I could speak on is when I got here in January full time with this team, if initially it felt a little casual, like detail wasn't as urgent as it needed to be. And there's been some things lacking. And from January, I'm not talking about 2025 or previously. When I first got here, I'm like, guys, there's certain things, like if a workout starts at 6 a.m. and you're walking in the building at 5:48, that's not how you win. Like, you have to be prepared. You have to come in. You have to hydrate. You have to roll out. You have to recover. You got to take care of your body. And so, to me, to be great, it takes what it takes. Like, there is no. The illusion of choice, if you want to be great, I think is a myth. I don't think it's real. I think there's only one way to be great. It's through hard work. A lot of that's done in the weight room to me. I believe the mental toughness of your program is really created through the weightlifting and the off-season program. I want to find out, which guys like treading in the deep water for a long time and outlasting somebody else in February, not in October for the first time. And so we challenge these guys. We put them in adversity situations. I think toughness is a huge factor in our game that cannot be undersold. I'm into being smart tough, not dumb tough. Like, we're not trying to push our guys to a breaking point, but we are trying to make them calloused and hardened to where they will not back down to tough things when we get in games in the fall.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's I've got a joke that I'm gonna wait until I introduce you to the quarterback club about how you got the job because you could count to 11, because that was a problem going in the back. You talk about details. Too many times with 12 guys on the field, too many guys with 10 guys on the field. That is the thing. And I think your love for special teams, Urban brought this up to me the other day, that when you started talking about special teams, you went right to his heart, right to his soul, man. That's what he believes in. And I believe in it. If it's a third of the game, it's a third of the game. You can't say it's a third of the game and then not be good at it, right?
No question. Yeah, look, I'm a former special teams coordinator. Like, that's something that I'm very passionate about. I'm in every special teams meeting. Our special teams coordinator, Jonathan Galante, he runs it, but I'm involved. I'm there. I'm not just really in all three phases of our team. I'm plugged in. I'm not just a casual observer. I let the coordinators do their job. All right. So, my job is to kind of be the detail coordinator of what our coordinators are doing. And so helping them be refined in how we're executing our plan. Special teams, it has been a difference maker on the positive for us in my time as a head coach. Last year at Tulane, our special teams units were very efficient, and they were a huge component to our success. I feel like it's important that we staff coach special teams, and what I mean by that is we have a special teams coordinator, but man, when you come watch us at practice in a special teams period, you're going to see everybody's involved. There's nobody just like hanging out and watching. And so everybody has a role and a job to do that adds value to our special teams units. Talking to Urban about special teams along with the offseason stuff, I feel like he and I have a similar view on a lot of that stuff, and really enjoy those conversations. He was always very dialed into the special teams units, and really fun to watch the way he coached.
3 things you want to get out of spring football, and I'm sure you cannot wait for it to start because this is probably one of you've done about 1 million interviews, and I know that's great that you're doing them all, and I appreciate you being on our podcast, but you're probably ready for football to start. But what are the 3 things you want to get out of the spring?
Yeah, I would say individual skill development. So I want our players to grow individually. Each guy, as we're becoming a team, I want everybody to maximize who they are independently to add value to their game and figure out how they can maximize who they're becoming as an individual player. So individual player development. But I think it's foundational scheme development to where our guys understand the roots of what we're going to be terminology wise and how to communicate and play the game the right way in all 3 phases, which are all new to this program. And so just building a foundational level of understanding and knowledge of what we're doing. And the last thing I would say is not just what we're doing, but then how we're doing it. So, man, we have to do it with a competitive edge. We got to do it with a chip on our shoulder. Man, it's got to mean something to you every time you go out and take the practice field. Winning and losing matters all the time. And so we'll score a lot of our reps, and guys are going to understand how they're performing. And but it's individual player development, foundational scheme development of what we're doing, and then establishing how we do things matters. Everything we do and how we do those things, it matters.
Is there going to be a serious quarterback competition in the spring?
Yeah, it always is. I think a lot of people have some sort of assumption that one guy is the front runner. We haven't taken a snap yet. Here's the deal. When I meet with players all the time, who's promised a starting job? Nobody. Ever. In recruiting or returners, 2022, we won the conference championship at Troy. Gunnar Watson was my quarterback. He's from Taylor County, Georgia. Love Gunnar to death. He got told as soon as the last game was over, hey, you got to go earn it again. I'm not promising anything. I'm going to bring in a quarterback to compete with you probably. You got to go do it. And so there's constant competition. I think, you're always competing. I don't know how anybody has a leader in the clubhouse on any job and we haven't taken a practice rep, So I'm excited about watching all those guys compete. I think they've done a really good job competing with each other to this point, encouraging each other, challenging each other, pushing each other. But yeah, every job on our team is open for grabs.
I would start Jaden Ball. I'm just going to throw that out there.
At quarterback?
No, just start. I would have him on.
No, I was kidding. I knew what you're saying. I was kidding. Trust me, I'm pretty fired up to have Jaden Ball on this football team. I can promise you that.
Yeah, your retention of players was, I think everybody was really blown away by how well you did there because that was really the key, I thought. It was important to get the guys in the portal. It was important to have this class, and you held on to that class. But getting those guys back, Miles Graham, guys like that, I think that was huge.
I do too. I'd say 3 things there. I'd say number 1, man, it says a lot about what the University of Florida is. This is a special place, right? So guys felt a real attachment to Gainesville and to the university. All right. So then I think, too, it says a lot about the type of guys that we have on the team. Some of those guys that came back and made a decision to see this thing through, their commitment to finishing the job and not maybe finding a way out when things weren't going the way that anybody wants them to go. You go through a coaching change, a record that you don't want, some things not going the way you want. And instead of leaving, going, hey, you know what? I'm going to stay here and finish this the right way. And then the last piece I'll tell you is I can't tell you how grateful I am for the support, man. Like Florida Victorious and our internal rev share stuff. I've been very grateful for the support we've gotten. We got to continue to push the envelope there. Like, it's already going good. We need it to be the best in the country. And those guys at Florida Victorious have done a great job. Our administration here internally, Scott Strickland and them have done a great job helping and assisting so we can put a good roster together. Man, I want us to pursue championships every year. And so we got to continue to provide our program with the best resourcing available. There's no reason why the University of Florida shouldn't be top 5 in football and NIL and rev share and all that stuff if we want to be a championship program.
Jon, before we let you go, we do this with everybody. We play the game called Yes, No Way, or Maybe, brought to you by Big Mill's Cheesesteak, street dining done the right way. If you go there and say, hey, I heard Coach Sumrall on the podcast, you get free fries with your order. How about that?
That sounds like a yes.
All right, 3 questions, yes, no way, or maybe. Number 1, you got the no logos idea from Urban Meyer.
Maybe.
Because he did the same thing here.
Yeah, so truthfully, I didn't know it before I did it.
Okay.
So, but when I heard it, it did kind of like when I heard after the fact and I heard that, I was like, oh, wow, that's pretty cool. I've done it before. This isn't the first time I've done it, but so I'd say no, I didn't do it because Urban did it, but it's kind of cool that was a carryover.
It is cool. All right, on Yes, No, Where, Maybe with Coach Sumrall. Number 2, you have received emails or mail with both of your names misspelled.
Yes, not yes, hell yes, yeah. And John and Summer, all not Sumrall.
Everybody thinks you're related to Pat Sumrall. There, I saw these people say, "Is he related to Pat Sumrall?"
I wish, yeah.
And then finally, on our Big Mill's Cheesesteak, yes, no, where, maybe. You have thought about running out of that tunnel many times when you go to bed at night for the first.
Hell yeah! Oh yeah! Hey, not just when I've gone to bed. Like I've gone. I'm not gonna lie. I run Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I started my run this morning at 4:50 a.m. and I finished at about 5:30. And there's many a times that at some point in my run, I might pop my head into the stadium and I get chills. Yeah. So hell yeah.
You can't wait to see that thing filled up, right?
I cannot wait. Yeah. Like I will be 12 out of 10 the first time we get to go take the field in the swamp for a game day.
Well, Coach, appreciate your time so much. I know you're doing a lot of these interviews and I appreciate you taking time for us and we appreciate it and we are rooting for you. You know that. And it'll be a lot of fun. I am just looking forward to getting to another football season. And I have total confidence. If Coach Spurrier and Coach Meyer, who are good friends of mine, have confidence in you, I have confidence in you.
Thank you, Pat. I appreciate it, man. Excited to be here. And thanks for the opportunity to chat with you. Look forward to seeing you soon and go Gators.
Okay, we'll be back with more of another Dooley Noted podcast right after this break. Hey, thanks, Coach.
Thank you, brother. Have a great
Titan MRI, North Central Florida's premier independent diagnostic testing MRI facility. At Titan MRI, we're focused on you, the patient, having a great customer experience. Our MRI equipment is modern and 75% quieter than any unit in its class. And our MRI unit has one of the largest openings of any of the newer high-strength MRI units, which allows comfortable scanning for potential claustrophobic and larger patients. At Titan MRI, we look forward to serving you.
Adams Rib Company has been a staple of Gainesville for more than a decade and a staple of the Dooley house ever since Kelsey's teeth came in. The first time I walked into Adams, I told my daughter that the green beans are always a test of a great barbecue restaurant, and they were perfect. You know about the ribs that melt in your mouth, and my favorite, the turkey plate. But be sure to go in on Fridays for Nana's Fish Nuggets. They will melt in your mouth. Adams Ribco, a Gainesville great. Okay, welcome back to another duly noted podcast presented by Titan MRI and Imaging. Coming to you from the Meldon Law Gator Studios. Meldon Law Mondays bring you Coach Spurrier every Monday, and we appreciate him being on board. We just played an interview I did Friday with Jon Sumrall, and I know that on last Monday, when you were here for the Spurrier Awards, I call them the Spurriers, you talked a lot about how happy you are about him being the coach here.
Well, I think he's a heck of a ball coach. He's been a head coach 4 years, and he's played for 4 conference championships and won 3 of them. So he's been in the final game every year he's coached, and he is looking forward to trying to do the same thing here. He's not saying, well, it's a bigger league, it's a better conference, blah, blah, blah. No, he and his coaches and players, they'll be trying to win it all, and that's the kind of coach he is.
Well, and I like that.
I do too. You got to.
Well, you got to try to win every game. And,
my first year here, our goal was to win the SEC because we had the players, and I do. Excuse me. I do think we have a lot of good players here, and had a lot of good players last year. Just didn't quite work out. But I really think Coach Sumrall would do a super job, no question.
Well, that's the thing. They, this is a team that's got good players, but they also went 4-8, and that you can't get away from that. But to me, the biggest thing about the spring is just get to it healthy. Get to it healthy, get everything installed, get it so when you come back in the fall, your guys are in shape because you've got a good strength coach now, and we'll see how it goes.
Well, I don't know if I agree 100% with that, but he's going to give all the guys a chance to compete see who the starters are. So it's not going to be just let's play touch ball out there. They're going to scrimmage a little bit and go at it. And we used to scrimmage, but I'd tell the guys, don't take a cheap shot at a teammate. We can play tackle without hurting our teammates. Now, in a regular game against our opponents, we're going to play like they play. We'll get our hits in as long as they're clean and fair, but don't get a big hit against a teammate.
Right. So, I mean, that's a big thing, but we'll see how it goes. Speaking of championships and playing for championships, we saw a couple of them this weekend. Track and basketball.
Yeah, a wonderful weekend for the Gators. Congratulations to Scott Strickland. Great weekend for him. I tell you what, SEC women's track team won it again. Coach Holloway, I don't know how many he's won.
9. He's won 9.
9 women?
19 total. I think he won 9 as the women, 10 with the men.
Yeah, and Todd Golden has got at least a tie, one more win, and we're outright SEC champions in basketball. And we don't have many of those. I think
this is the 8th, I think.
I read last year, I don't think we had the regular season, but we won the tournament.
Won the tournament, and won the tournament.
And then the big tournament. So anyway, that's I
think Auburn won it last year. Auburn was really good last year, except when they played
regular
Florida.
Season.
Yeah, Florida beat their tails in. But, I mean, it is so much fun to watch this team because you're watching the game and you're like nervous, you're worried that it's like 34-34 or whatever, and then next thing you know they're up 17 or something. You're like, what happened? You got to pay attention to these guys because they will go on runs.
I tell you, some of the national media guys are saying Todd Golden is doing a little bit what I did as far as running up a score on a few people. We used to score 50 and 60 and things like that. And I tell you what, he lets this guy score also. 111 against Arkansas. That's sort of special. When you win big, some of the great people of all time said it helps you really in the next game because your opponents, they have a greater respect for you when you win a lot of high-scoring games.
And that's the thing. They play 8 guys, and 7 of them got in double figures. That was pretty amazing itself. Yeah,
it's truly.
My wife and I were talking about how, because Todd has a little brashness to him, and he doesn't mind sticking it to people and everything. And Karen goes, kind of like Coach Spurrier. And I go, yeah, he is. Both have one national title, multiple SECs,
That is really unique that he has won what he's done already, and we're one of the top 4, I think, in the country, according to all the basketball experts, that has a chance to win it all this year. But I like how we do it. We do the season, and then you do the tournament, and you try to win all of them. And then the big tournament, maybe it'll work out like it did last year. Who knows?
Well, that's the thing. Last year when they went to the SEC tournament, I'm like, God, I hope they get knocked out because I wanted to be rested. And they didn't care. They wanted to win every game they played. And that's one thing I really like about Todd is that his mentality is very – and, of course, he and Calipari got into it at the game. And
yeah, I heard about that. I was out of town and didn't get a chance to watch it. But, they had double technicals. I don't know if I've ever seen that
They dropped double
before.
F-bombs, too. So
On each other?
Yeah, on each other. So it was crazy.
Yeah.
It was wild. But certainly that was fun. The track team, Mouse Holloway, getting it done again. He's an amazing guy. And I know you watched a little bit of golf this weekend, too, and watched Shane Lowry blow it at the Bear Trap.
I felt for him. Everybody
too.
really likes Shane Lowry.
Yeah.
He's a popular player out there. To have 2 straight double bogeys, that's unbelievable.
Things happen, and it opened it up for Echeverria. Ricky Castillo finished 5th, the former Gator, so that was kind of cool to see. I did want to talk, too, about the Legends Gala that's coming up with you and Danny and Tim Tebow. First time that all 3 of you have been together since the Heisman, I guess, right?
Yeah, March 30th. Tim's coming in, Danny's coming in. We'll sign a whole bunch of footballs, take a whole bunch of pictures, and it's a fundraiser for some charities here in town and so forth. And every Gator fan that wants to, I think we're going to throw a little pass to them and take a picture with almost everybody.
And the ball say you caught a touchdown pass from Steve Spurrier.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it. And, of course, Tim and Danny, they have charities. I have one also that we like to try to give back to the community and so forth. So it should be a nice event. March the 30th. All you Gators, come see us here at the restaurant.
Yeah, and there's the main supporting is Isaiah 117 House, which is really a good place, and they're trying to get one here in Gainesville. So we'll see if they can get that going. And that's the thing is you have to buy tickets, and you can go to FLLegends.com to buy tickets. Now, there are 2 separate tickets. One is for the event over there at the Alachua County sports, what is it called? The sports place over there, right across the street.
Where the track is.
Yeah, the track is. And then the other one will be here at the restaurant. And what Freddie was saying to me is they're going to have one of you in each kind of room, and fans can go whichever one they want.
Yeah, it should be a hopefully wonderful event, and those Gators, and we're looking forward to football season this year too.
Yeah.
And Danny Warfel actually got involved a little bit with hiring of Jon Sumrall. I thought Scott Strickland letting Danny tag along with him a little bit was a wonderful idea. If there's anybody, well, both those guys are 2 of the most respected Gators of all time, no question about that.
And he knows football. I mean, it's not like he forgot football because he hadn't been playing in a long time, but I know he did a PSA for it, and it'll be really cool. And I know that'll be a lot of fun for you.
Yeah, I read an article one time about people or teams that are highly successful. They need that one or 2 leaders type. And when you think about what Danny Warfel did here, 4 SEC championships in 4 years. Terry Dean played one of them, though, and was super. And then Tim Tebow, 2 nationals, 2 SEC titles when he was here. So those 2 are the winningest quarterbacks in school history as far as championships, that's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, you're the only one that didn't win one, right?
No, we didn't even win a conference. I wish we would have
but you made up for it as a coach, right?
Yeah, back in our day, we just talked about having a good season, go to bowl game. I don't know. And when I got introduced before my first season here, Coach Graves introduced me at the Tampa Gator Club, and he said, Steve may never win an SEC championship, but he's going to bring fun and excitement to Gator football. And I got up and I said, Coach, I love you. But I didn't get hired to bring fun and excitement. I got hired to win us some championships here. And we got the players to do it. And we got a chance this year, too. And I know Jerry Odom, before the season ever started, they interviewed him. He said, our goal is to win the SEC, and it was. And we had the team to do it. So we just somebody said, how'd you do that? I said, man, we raised our goals. We had the players here. Nobody told them, you're good enough, we're good enough, let's go do it. So that was a very good start we had because we had the players ready here to win. I think we were picked 5th by the national media, so they didn't have much respect for us. But then, of course, Shane Matthews was here, 5th team, first day of spring practice, SEC Player of the Year when it was all over. So that was a wonderful start for that team. That really paved the way for the rest of the teams to be successful.
Absolutely. And maybe next year you can be out here a year from now and giving Jon Sumrall the first-year coach award.
He's got a chance.
Yeah.
He's got a good chance to be first year at the school award. Dan Mullen was here. He won it past year at UNLV.
It was great seeing Megan, too. I love Megan. She's a
yeah.
great person. Yeah, it was fun to see her.
It was.
So that
Nice
was
event.
part of the fun of the whole weekend. All right. Okay. I didn't tell Zach what our Campus USA play of the weekend is, but if you look, it is the kid making the three-pointer on game day. I retweeted that, and this is, I don't know his name, and I don't really care what his name is, but he won $19,000 right
That's
here.
pretty good. Yeah, see him looking for the ball. Look at, oh. You don't have to throw any more up there.
When I saw that kid come out there, and again, a little pudgy, I was like, hey, he probably won't get the ball of the basket. He nailed it, though. Boom!
He's reaching for the other ball.
People get excited about that thing.
Oh, yeah, that's smart to have those kind of things at halftime.
It's so funny because Reese Davis, they were clearly running up right against the end of the show, and he was like, all right, get the balls, go. And I think that kid felt a little bit nervous about that, and then once he made it, they cut out. So anyway, that was our Campus USA play of the weekend. We've got a lot of stuff going on this week and this weekend, Coach. There's softball, obviously, 23-1 right now. I think it is 22-1. Yeah, 23-1. Baseball with a big win over Miami to win that series, 2-0. How about, Sully is very much like you in that he came into a situation where he has just found a way to beat the rivals. Like when you came here, we can't play Auburn and Georgia back to back every year. That's impossible. Nobody can do that. And you said, why? We're just going to do it. And that's what Sully's done. He is now 45-19 against Miami since he got to Florida. That's a pretty good program.
Yeah, there's no question. Miami baseball used to be one of the best in the country. And it's still good, no question about that. But we do have seems like another good team. And, of course, they play so many games, man. You almost got to pace yourself in baseball. Basketball, a little bit such. What was interesting when I was watching the track yesterday, is a replay last night, Mouse was talking about, well, what's next? And he said, well, we're going to rest. And then the Arkansas coach, they won the men's. So they interviewed him, and he said the same thing. We're going to get some rest between now and the next tournament.
It's
is that the NCAA?
Middle of March, and it's at Fayetteville. So that'll be interesting. Yeah, they're men. That is why it's at Fayetteville, because they have a great track facility. Yeah,
one of the best. I would say we're the best, and they're second best. But their men won, and they got a new track coach. I guess their other guy
he retired.
Yeah. And so the new coach won his first year. Yeah. He knew he better win. But what was neat, Mouse was talking. He said, we actually did not win an event. And still, we were second almost in every event. And then, of course, the ladies from all the different schools were first. But it was close. But we
just got to pile up points.
Yeah, pile up points. That determines the champion. And Mouse knows how to do that.
I sat down with him once and asked him about that, about how you go into and meet, and you know what you're going to need to win. So this person needs to do this to get this many points. It's not about we need to win every race. It's always about how do we pile up the points.
Pile up the points and pace yourself a little bit in between meets and be 100% ready to go when the meet occurs,
So are you going to head out to any spring football as we go forward here? I mean, we're still a long way away from the spring game. It's still.
Oh, yeah, we'll watch a little bit. I'm sure Coach Sumrall have it probably open to former players or what have you. and so
He
forth.
wants you out
but
there. I know
but I
that.
like the fact that he's who's your quarterback? Well, whoever earns it. It ain't like last year. Well, Lagway's getting all the money. You know he's going. Well, he can't even practice. He can't practice in the spring. He can't practice in preseason, and so anyway, that's not going to happen again. Somebody's going to go out there and prove he can play quarterback and be the best, and get ready for the season. Mm-hmm.
You know, it sometimes it works when you do that. I mean, Miami got to the national championship game with giving Carson Beck all that money. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it doesn't. You know, Jaden Rashad is a good example of that.
That's right.
That never worked out. He's now at, I don't even know where he is now. He's on his sixth school, I think, whatever.
Yeah, that's right. Mm-hmm.
But it's a bizarre situation here. One last thing, Coach, before we let you go, and that is they're putting together this committee that Donald Trump has put together. And maybe he didn't ask you because you said how you feel about him. But, and they got Urban on that committee, and they got Tiger Woods, and I'm like, what is Tiger Woods going to tell anybody about it? College players. But anyway, do you think anything can come of this and get us to the point where we're not? We have a cap, we have antitrust, everything, because I just don't see it happening, personally. Just anybody being able to solve any of the problems.
The NFL, did you see where their new salary cap was? $301 million. That certainly could pay a team. Yeah. But in college, if we had a, I don't know, 40 or 50 million cap, certainly you could pay all your players and try to spread it out as evenly as you want to. And, I mean, it may take, Congress, the president, or whoever to say, hey, here's how you're going to do it. So,
well, and Greg Sankey came out this week and said, I want to go back to you can only transfer one time rule, or, and everybody's saying, well, in federal court, they lost that suit. You can't restrict them. So I don't know.
Well, we're in pro football and the fans are still coming. Yeah. Fans, they want their team to win. So if they could put a salary cap, I think it would, and maybe 2 transfers, I don't know. But nowadays it's just one, guys playing at 4 different schools and things like that. It's ridiculous, I think. But anyway.
One last thing, because I was on Twitter about this, and everybody got mad at me for saying this, but I get so mad when people refer to other stadiums in Gainesville as the Swamp. We wanted the Swamp. The Swamp is one place. It is, the Swamp Restaurant and the Swamp. That's it.
Okay.
Basketball doesn't play in the Swamp. Baseball doesn't play in the Swamp. Golf doesn't play in the Swamp.
Swamp is a word people love to say.
They do.
That's probably why they're saying it. But no, the old Florida field is the Swamp. Yeah.
Yeah, it is the Swamp, and it's Steve Spurrier Stadium too. Steve Spurrier.
Well, we got a lot of names on it, but I'm thankful and happy they put my name on it. Steve Spurrier Field, Florida Field. Ben Hill Griffin, his name's still on the stadium also, and several other people who've donated. There's a couple of names on our baseball stadium also.
Yeah. Condren.
And Mr. McKeithen's is still on there. So, that's good. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, pretty soon you're going to be seeing all these things on the jerseys too. That's a new rule. Advertises on the jerseys.
You can advertise all you want. Yep. All right.
All right, we'll let Coach go, and we appreciate him for being here, and we'll be back with more of another duly noted podcast presented by Titan MRI and Imaging, coming to you from the Meldon Law Gator Studios here at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill right after this break. Money Metals Exchange is a new sponsor for our starting 5 here on another duly noted podcast, and we are so happy to have a group that is formed by 2 Florida grads, Mike and Stephen Gleason. They do a great job up there. If you're looking to buy or sell any gold or silver products, this is the place for you. And you can reach them at muddymetals.com. Also, phone number 1-800-800-1865. They are the place to go. They run the largest Class 3 precious metals depository west of New York. They've been voted the best online precious metals dealer in the United States by Investopedia. It's a bull market right now. Everybody needs to get in on the gold and silver markets, especially silver. So it's a great time to jump in. I looked at it yesterday. I was on the website for a while. It was amazing how many different things they have. Coins and rounds and bars and just all kinds of special things. And I think you would have a great time just going in there and browsing. And, look, the prices are right there. You know how much it is. Money Metals Exchange is the place to go. Again, Mike and Stephen Gleason do a great job. You can reach them at moneymetals.com or reach them at 1-800-800-1865. All right, it may be a new year, but it doesn't mean you have to back off any of your goals as far as losing weight. I know I've been working even harder on it, and of course I get an assist from BMI TeleMed. They help us out with our New Year's resolutions, even if I've already broken 2 of them. Not the food ones, though. Weight loss is your goal. Get with BMI TeleMed. They use GLP-1 medications, and they are individualized, and that's the great thing. I've been through this, and Charlie, just talking to him, it was so great to make him understand, and he understood what I was doing. It's not about just losing weight. It is about keeping it off. You know that. We're all excited about the new year, and we're going to lose weight, but when you lose it in the first month, then you got to keep going. BMI TeleMed is sensible. It's straightforward. It's affordable. No contracts or hidden costs. BMI TeleMed is donating $1 for every pound you lose to the Florida Victorious Foundation. So go Gators. Join the listeners on this podcast who've already lost over 600 pounds. Are you kidding me? I'm 60 of them right there. All right, contact BMI TeleMed today at 727-383-1677. Okay, so pretty big show today. We have the current coach and the best coach all on the same way. We should have gotten Urban in here to do that because that would be the 3 most important coaches in Florida. Certainly appreciate Jon Sumrall. It took a long time to get that set up. I think I was last. I think I was the last guy he did an interview with. But that's cool. I was probably the last one to ask. That's why I got the last interview. And obviously, we love having Coach Spurrier on here every Monday. It's so much fun to have him. All right, let us get to our Campus USA. Let us get to our Adams Ribco Gator of the Weekend, brought to you by our good friends at Adams Ribco. Michelle and Adam over there do a great job of supplying you with the best food you can get. Our Adams Ribco Gator of the Weekend is Todd Golden. Todd Golden and his entire staff for doing what they have done for Florida basketball. I cannot tell you how happy it makes me to give him this award. And I will buy him lunch at Adams anytime he wants, and he knows that. Carlin Hartman, let me know. I'll do it. Probably be after the season. Anyway, but the reason I made it Todd Golden is that he has 99 wins right now. If he wins a game tomorrow night against Mississippi State, which they'll be a heavy favorite, they're at home, and Mississippi State's not very good, but it's still a game. You got to go play it. But if they do that, he will win 100 games. Fastest to 100 wins in Florida history. I think Billy Donovan was 159 games he coached before he. Now, I will say this. Billy Donovan inherited nothing. 0.0. They just didn't have any good players. He brought Jason Williams in. He only got 20 games out of him. It was a struggle at the beginning for him. And by 99, they had started the machine going. And look, we all know how much we all love Billy Donovan to death. But Todd Golden is doing what Mike White could never do, which is win big games and then back it up with winning not big games. That was the biggest problem for Mike White. Mike White had no problem winning big games, but he would lose games they should have won. And as a result, they get the seed would not be great for the NCAA tournament. They'd usually lose. Chiozza's shot allowed them to get to the Elite Eight the one year. But anyway, I'm not ripping Mike White. I'm just saying Todd Golden is everything Mike White was not, and winning on a consistent basis. And that, to me, is the consistency of Florida basketball right now is it's at a Billy Donovan level, where every year you expect them to be good. And next year, they're going to lose a lot of players, but he'll figure it out. I don't worry about it. Anyway, Todd Golden and his entire staff, and that's everybody. That's Saphir did the scout for this game. Hartman is the big guy coach, and we know how good they are. They got so many guys on that staff that do a great job. The guy who sits back there, I can't remember his name now. I forgot it. And looks at the videos and he decides whether they should appeal it or not. Anyway, they are our Adams Ribco Gators of the weekend. Let's move along to our Leonardo's at Millhopper quick picks. And I did, a couple of people nailed everything on the quick picks this week. So courtesy of Leonardo's at Millhopper, I sent them the links to the patreon.com/duly noted for a month. You get a free subscription for a month. One guy sent me back and said, I already got it. I love you, man. I love reading your stuff, and I appreciate people like that. But we'll continue to do this, and we'll give these away. And I think we're ready on Thursday to make a pull. What do you think, Zach? Go ahead and pull some. Yeah, we'll pull a winner on Thursday. So you got 2 chances to qualify for this, and then we'll pull a winner. This is your last chances. And if you get both right, I will send you a Patreon subscription to my writing. And I've been writing my tail off, I can tell you that. All right, so Alabama at Georgia. That is the Tuesday night game, I believe, right? Yes. Alabama at Georgia. So you have till 6:30 to get that pick in. And the reason I put that game on there is I'm curious to see what happens there. Alabama, knows they aren't going to win the SEC now. They could tie for it, though, and maybe Georgia needs a win, and, it's at home. So I think that's a good game. I would bet Alabama would be about a 3-point favorite. But I don't know. Basketball spreads are different than football spreads. And then Texas at Arkansas, which is a bubble game for Texas. I think Texas is going to get in. And Arkansas, how they respond. So I think both those games are going to be interesting. And those are your 2 games. Make the picks. Send them to patrickdooley54@gmail.com. And if you qualify, we will put your name down. And then on Thursday, we'll make a draw for $25 at Leonardo's at Millhopper. You go in there and get a couple of duels sandwiches, and a Diet Coke or whatever you want to drink. All right. So that is our that is our Leonardo's of Millhopper quick pick. Let us move along to our BMI TeleMed Overachiever of the weekend. And our BMI TeleMed, we love BMI TeleMed. Achieve and Maintain, of course, your medical weight loss specialist, 727-383-1677. It worked for me. It can work for you. And you get a discount when you call them if you mention this podcast. Our Overachiever of the week this week, and I'm going to say this, and people may not like this, is the University, well, it's not, it's Miami University of Ohio. It's Miami of Ohio. And I don't like Miami teams. But this one's 29-0. And I know everybody, Bruce Pearl and everything, saying if they don't win their conference, they're out. So if they went 32-1, they wouldn't get in. I think you got to let them in. But the point is, I'm watching their game Friday night. They are playing the game at Western Michigan. There is a track around the arena. Now, I know you see that in football at small stadiums sometimes. I don't know that I see it very often in basketball. Remember, Florida used to have that track, but it was up on the second floor, and they got rid of it. Anyway, there was a track, literally, like you could, if you were trying to save a ball, you'd run into the track. And they won on a last-second tip-in. The team they beat is not very good. They are overachieving to go 29-0. They're not that great. I would love to pull Miami of Ohio in the tournament. But they deserve to get in. And I think they're just the fact that they are in the argument and in the discussion and they're 29-0, they're overachieving. And I appreciate them. And I appreciate BMI TeleMed. Let's move along to our Gallo Car Wash Sponge of the weekend, brought to you by our friends at Gallo Car Wash. The place to go to get your car wash is where we go. I think Kelsey's going there today, actually. Her car got a little... her boyfriend actually did some landscaping in in our house, and I you have my permission to marry him if this guy's going to work. I'm just kidding, of course. But anyway, the point is, Gallo Car Wash will clean up anything you have, and they do a great job. Our sponge of the weekend is Caleb Banks, the former Florida player, not a former Gator though. He's always a Gator. And I know that because he went up there and he put up the numbers I hoped a guy like that could put up. And people are raving. I don't know if he's going to be in the first round. I don't know where he's going to get picked, but he put up great numbers. And I will say this, the combine sometimes can be a little bit too much. People react too much to it. But the bottom line is that Caleb Banks probably made some money this weekend and then got back in time to watch the Gators beat Arkansas. That makes you our Gallo Car Wash sponge of the week. That's all you need. You go kill it at the combine and you come back in time to watch the Gators beat Arkansas, you are part of the solution. All right, let's move along. That's our Gallo Car Wash sponge of the weekend. Let's get to our Los Landeros smooth move of the weekend, brought to you by our friends at Los Landeros. Go beyond with Los Landeros tequila. It is my favorite tequila, and it is Urban Meyer's favorite tequila. Los Landeros, our smooth move of the weekend, are all the people who came to the defense of KC Concepcion. Now, for those of you who don't know what happened there, he was at the combine, and first of all, I think KC Concepcion is an elite player. I loved him in college. I loved him at NC State. Then I loved him at Texas A&M, even though I had to root against him a couple of times there. But I think he's a great player. But he also has a speech impediment. He's got a little bit of a stutter. He's had it for his whole life. He got up. And look, I've been to the combine once. Once is enough for me. But all it is a bunch of interviews. You don't even get to watch the guys run. You aren't allowed out there. But his interview, people were making fun of him, which is what people do on Twitter and social media and all these other things when somebody shows a flaw. They just jump all over it. And all the people that came to his defense and explained to everybody that he's got a stuttering problem he's had since forever and, lay off this guy. He's a great player. He'll be fine. Calm down. All those people won our Los Landeros smooth move of the week for doing that. It's just, this is the world we live in. If you've got a flaw, they're going to find it and they're going to try to exploit it, and it's disgusting. I'm rooting for KC Concepcion. Hopefully he doesn't go to the Cowboys because I root against them. So that was a bad thing when Lamb went there. I loved him in college, and then I'm like, I got to root against him now. All right. So that is our Los Landeros smooth move of the weekend. All of the people who came to the defense of KC Concepcion, and he put out a statement today and was very eloquent. Again, kid's got a stuttering problem. Everybody, there's a lot of people that go through that. Making fun of them is not the answer. Let us move along to our Mark Gaida Presents the 12, brought to you by Mark Gaida and the work he does for Pepin Realty. We appreciate Mark Gaida. And the 12 today is going to be the WOB. Now, what is the WOB? I didn't know what the WOB was, I think, until last year, and then it became a big deal. It is a metric they definitely use in that meeting room, the committee meeting room, and the WOB is wins above the bubble. Now, I don't know how they figure it out. I'm not going to try to do the math on that, but I'll just give you the 12. And the wins above the bubble. So this is the wins you win. You beat teams that you beat, I guess, that would not be on the bubble, or I whatever it is, they use it, and here it is. Number 1 is Michigan. So that's interesting. 2 is Duke. 3 is Arizona. 4 is UConn. 5 is Florida. Here is where the reason I don't know that Florida, other than winning out, can get a 1 seed. Because if it's Florida versus UConn are the two teams you're looking at, UConn beat Florida. And I know it was a very close game and everything, and it wasn't a neutral site. They said it was a neutral site, but it was at Madison Square. But if you're just looking, if you watch the game, you may feel differently. But if you just look at it, you're going to say, well, UConn beat them, so on a neutral site, so they go ahead. That's the biggest thing I think that will keep Florida from being a 1. I don't know that it matters that much, to be honest with you. You're a 2, you're okay. Anyway, Alabama at number 6 on the WAB. Alabama's really on a roll. Now, I will say this, and I'm not going to say his name because I've known this guy for a long time. I don't want to rip him. But a writer in Alabama wrote this last week, that Alabama is the hottest team in the country, and certainly the hottest in the SEC. Hello? Are you acquainted with the University of Florida, which during this 9 straight wins against SEC teams, one of them was like a 30-point win over Alabama. Okay. I just want to bring that up. 7 is Houston. 8 is Nebraska. I still have not watched Nebraska play a game this year. And it's funny because they had that great start to the season. We'll see. 9 is Michigan State. Watched them yesterday. Purdue, 10. I watched them yesterday lose. 11, Kansas, and 12, Texas Tech. So there are some teams that maybe you thought should be in there that aren't in there. Illinois is one of them. So we'll see how that all works out. We're not far away. What are we, 2 weeks away from Selection Sunday? 2 weeks from yesterday? I'm excited, but I'm also sad. You know what I mean? It's like I want this season to go on forever if it will continue to go like it's going. You know what I mean? Like if Florida could just keep playing teams and beating the crap out of them, it'll be great. But I also know that once you get into the tournament, it's a whole different animal and everything, and we'll see. We'll see what happens. Anyway, that is our Mark Guida presents the 12 from Pepin Realty. Let us move along to our Hesser and Kipke 3 things. Hesser and Kipke, with over 50 years of combined legal experience in North and Central Florida, Hesser and Kipke is your place for bankruptcy, workers' compensation, and family law. Call or text Ken and Jennifer at 352-339-9920, Hesser and Kipke. Okay, Hesser and Kipke, 3 things. Number 1 is softball losing a game this weekend. Unbelievable. What is wrong with this team? They're 23-1, but they lost a game. I thought it was a typo when I looked it up because I think we saw it Friday night on the score crawl. Karen and I went to Mother's. We like to go there on Friday nights for hamburgers, $5 hamburgers. Free plug there. But we saw it, and I said, Florida's losing 9-4? And it got worse and ended up losing 15-12 and actually had the tying run on base. I'm sorry, a non-deck circle. No, tying run at the plate is what they had. I'm trying to remember all this. 23-1. They're okay, and they put up some amazing numbers. This weekend they play Missouri, start SEC play, and it's a Saturday, Sunday, Monday. For those of you who are planning on going out there Friday, you'll be going out and watching practice. Saturday, Sunday, Monday against Missouri at home. Number 2 on our Hesser and Kipke 3 things. I did want to, I know Coach talked about Florida winning the track without winning an event, but you can definitely do that. I remember 1 year or 2 years in a row, FSU won the men's national title with one athlete. He won every event that he competed in, and that was enough points. It's all about scoring points. And what Mouse has done there is put together a group that'll score a lot of points because they'll go 2-4 in this event and 3-6 in this event. They won the cross-country SEC too, so that's 3. Remember last year we were worried Florida wasn't going to win an SEC championship, and then finally golf did? They got 3 already this year. And I don't, again, the tournament is a different thing. The SEC tournament counts as an SEC tournament, but it's not winning the SEC. That's my feelings. All right. So congratulations to Mouse Holloway. And I don't know where he's putting all these rings, but it's unbelievable. Let's get to number 3 on our Hesser and Kipke 3 thing, which is the interesting story about Chad Baker Mazzara. I don't know if you heard about this. And again, you remember him. He got kicked. Remember he got kicked out of a game against Kentucky, or he got kicked out of an NCAA game. I'm trying to go through my memory on him. He's always been, it feels like, in some kind of a weird situation, an interesting story, a good player, not a great player, but a good player. Anyway, USC is where he ended up. His 5th school in 6 seasons as a player. This is what we're dealing with today. Not anymore. He is no longer with the team. Apparently, during the game this weekend, rather than sit on the bench, he went and sat in a seat on the baseline because he wanted to go back in any more games. So now he's out. I'm sure that somebody is going to jump all over him, but I'm assuming he's also out of eligibility. But who knows? He could sue. All right. That is our Hesser and Kipke 3 things. Let us get to our Learner Law club team of the weekend, and it is our UF sailing team, which has represented the university for over 60 years and begins competition this month at Lake Wahlberg. Exact days and times can be found online. Go Gators is what Matt Lerner says. I agree with him. So our sailing teams, there's a lot of club teams out there, and this is why Matt Lerner wanted to make sure we gave them the attention, and I appreciate that at Learner Law, place to go if you want to close on a house. We appreciate Matt Lerner. Sailing, UF sailing. Did you know there was a UF sailing team?
I can't say I did.
Okay. Well, now you know, Zach, and I expect you to be out there watching their next, what do they call it, a match, a meet,
How would they know how to have meets and eats?
sail off?
Yeah.
Sail on. All right. That is our Learner Law club team of the weekend. Let us wrap it up as we always do with our Swamp Games of the Week. The Swamp Restaurant, the place to go to watch all these games and appreciate the Swamp. And yes, there are only 2 swamps in this town, and I'm going to die on that hill. The football stadium and the restaurant. That's it. Those are the swamps. Baseball, basketball, no. Sorry. Stop saying that. And the reason I made a big deal out of it is ESPN ran a graphic go, hot in the swamp or something, and I'm like, they don't play in the swamp. They may work out in the swamp occasionally. Anyway, our games of the week. Here we go. Tonight, 9 o'clock, ESPN, Iowa State, Arizona. That is a great game to watch. I think it's 2 versus 4, but Iowa State lost, so I don't know if the new rankings have come out. They probably aren't as high as they were. And then Tuesday night, you got the Alabama-Georgia game. It's a 6:30 start. That's why you have to have your picks in by 6:30. It's a 6:30 start, and it's on ESPN News. Now, to me, it seems like a fairly important game, but it's on ESPN News. That's weird. Also, of course, Florida, Mississippi State, Tuesday night. That's at 8 o'clock on the SEC network. Baseball, Tuesday night. They're playing FAU, and that game is on SEC Plus, if you want to watch that. Let's get to Wednesday. Baseball again against FAMU. FAMU's not really bad this year. Sorry, I'm not being derogatory. I'm just saying they're not good. That's a 6:30 game. No, again, both those games are at home, and that's also on SEC Plus. You also that night have that Texas-Arkansas game is at 7 on ESPN2. Women's basketball is playing Wednesday night. Yes, they lost again to Georgia. They play in Greenville, South Carolina. The SEC tournament starts. Florida will play Wednesday it says 1:30, but that probably means 1:45. But they're playing Mississippi State. Mississippi State had basically the same SEC record as Florida. And will I watch it? You're absolutely right, I will. That's what kind of loser I am. I like to watch the Gators play anything. By the way, I looked at the, you know how they put the tickets prices on there, what you can get in, the get-in price to go to that Florida-Mississippi State game? $4. You got $4, you can go to the game. So go. All right, that's going to do it for our podcast. We appreciate everybody. Certainly appreciate Coach Sumrall and Coach Spurrier for being in, and we will be back on Thursday with Paul Feinbaum. Pretty big week here for the show, and appreciate you guys more than anything, because you guys are the ones making it work and making it happen. And, of course, Zach Rothrock is really making it happen, although his namesake did give up 6 runs in the first inning on Friday. But then she's got 3 wins. She went 3-1 for the weekend and gave up 6 runs in an inning. But anyway, we appreciate Zach, and we'll be back Thursday. We'll have a pull on our Leonardo's contest, so make sure you get your picks in time to qualify. Until Thursday. I am Pat Dooley saying I am deep, I am way back, and I'm out of here.